African Jacana, the bird that walks on water. In the holiest of Africa's cathedrals, where lily pads become stained glass, and every ripple holds a prayer, one bird performs miracles daily. The African Jacana doesn't just live on water, it conquers it with toes like divine gifts, and a family life that defies nature's laws. This is the true story of the Wetland sacred dancer. Subscribe now to witness nature's most shocking Family Secrets Chapter 1. Where lilies reign habitat and distribution. The African Jacana Actifilornis africanus is a fascinating wading bird found across much of sub-Saharan Africa. Its expansive range stretches from the drier plains of South Africa northwards through the vast wetland systems of Botswana, Zambia, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, and extending west to countries like Nigeria and east to Mozambique. These birds are highly specialized for life in freshwater wetlands, marshes, oxbow lakes, slow-moving rivers, and permanent ponds. Any aquatic environment characterized by a rich abundance of floating vegetation, this very specific habitat preference is critical to their survival, as their unique anatomical adaptations are entirely dependent on these floating platforms. Key habitat features for the African Jacana are non-negotiable. They require extensive mats of floating plants, such as water lilies, nymphea and nymphea species, lotuses, Nelumbo nucifera, water hyacinths, though this can be an invasive problem, and other broad-leaved aquatic flora. The water itself needs to be relatively shallow, typically ranging from 15 to 40 centimeters deep, allowing the plants to root or simply float sufficiently without being submerged. Additionally, optimal Jacana habitats are those with minimal human disturbance, as these birds are sensitive to excessive boat traffic, habitat alteration, or direct interference with their nesting sites. These pristine wetlands serve as vital feeding grounds, rich with invertebrate life, and provide the secure, secluded nesting sites that are essential for successful breeding. While African Jacanas are largely sedentary birds, remaining within their established territories year-round, they possess a remarkable ability to disperse widely when their primary water bodies begin to dry up. This is particularly true during prolonged drought, periods that can affect many parts of Africa. During such times, they will undertake significant flights, sometimes covering hundreds of kilometers, in search of new suitable aquatic habitats. This nomadic capability, while stressful, ensures their survival during environmental extremes and contributes to their wide distribution across the continent. It also allows them to quickly colonize newly formed or ephemeral water sources, demonstrating their resilience and adaptability to the unpredictable nature of African wetlands. Chapter 2. Designed to walk on water, anatomy and adaptations. The African Jacana is a marvel of biological engineering, meticulously designed for its unique aquatic lifestyle. Despite its visual impact on the water, is a relatively small bird, weighing a mere 130 to 260 grams, with a body length ranging from 20 to 30 centimeters. Its most distinctive and immediately recognizable feature, the very reason for its Lily Trotter nickname, lies in its extraordinarily long toes and elongated claws. These specialized appendages are disproportionately large compared to its body size, allowing it to navigate floating vegetation with unparalleled ease. The toes of an African Jacana can span an impressive width of up to 15 centimeters across, a spread that is notably wider than the bird's entire body. This remarkable adaptation serves a crucial purpose. By distributing its minimal weight over a significantly larger surface area, the Jacana reduces the pressure it exerts on the delicate floating plants. This low pressure allows the bird to walk effortlessly across lily pads, water hyacinths, and other floating leaves without sinking, giving the illusion of walking directly on the water surface. The claws, equally elongated and thin, provide additional grip and stability on the slippery, often unstable aquatic vegetation. Chapter 3. Lily Trotter's diet. Foraging and feeding. The African Jacana is an omnivorous bird, but its diet leans heavily towards insectivory, perfectly adapted to the abundant invertebrate life Found within its wetland habitats, their feeding strategy is a direct reflection of their anatomical adaptations for moving on floating vegetation. Their varied diet includes a wide array of protein-rich sources. Various insects such as aquatic beetles, dragonflies, water bugs, flies, and grasshoppers are staple. They also consume spiders, various mollusks like snails and slugs, found on or just beneath the water's surface, small worms and many crustaceans. Occasionally, they will supplement their diet with plant matter, such as seeds, and they are known to opportunistically snatch tiny fish fry. If available, this diverse diet allows them to exploit the rich biological productivity of the wetlands, ensuring a consistent food supply. Their foraging technique is a masterclass in patient, deliberate movement. They walk slowly and almost majestically across the extensive mats of floating vegetation, their long toes delicately spreading their weight as they move. Their keen eyesight scans the surface, an immediate underwater environment. They use their sharp, pointed beaks to probe into crevices, pluck insects from leaves, or swiftly stab at prey items just beneath the surface. A particularly clever foraging behavior observed is their tendency to flip over lily pads or other floating leaves. This exposes the underside of the leaves, where many insects, larvae, and snails hide, providing a rich, untapped food source. Most feeding activity is concentrated during the cooler parts of the day, primarily in the early morning or late afternoon, when many aquatic insects are most active and visible. During the intense midday heat, jacanas typically retreat to shadier, more concealed areas among the reeds, resting and conserving energy. They're also known to engage in communal foraging, where multiple jacanas, sometimes from the same territory or even neighboring territories, may feed relatively close to each other in a particularly productive area, while they maintain a respectful distance. This communal feeding can increase vigilance against predators and capitalize on an abundant food patch, demonstrating a pragmatic approach to resource utilization within their aquatic environment. Chapter 4: World Upside Down, Gender Role Reversal. This polyandrous system leads to intense competition. Among females, they engage in fierce, often physical, battles to secure and defend prime territories, and critically, to gain access to and retain multiple male mates. The significantly larger size of the females, often up to 60% heavier than males, provides a distinct advantage in these aggressive confrontations, allowing them to overpower rivals and defend their valuable male resources. Males, in turn, become exceptionally protective and attentive fathers, their lives revolving around the care of their clutches and chicks. The evolutionary drivers behind this remarkable gender role reversal are thought to be linked to the challenging nature of wetland environments. Wetlands often have limited suitable nesting space, and conditions can be unpredictable, leading to high chick mortality rates due to predation or nest flooding. In such an environment, it may be evolutionarily more beneficial for females to spread their genes across multiple clutches with different males, thereby hedging their bets against nest failures. The males, being smaller and less energetically costly to maintain, are better equipped to invest fully in the demanding process of incubation and direct offspring survival, as they are not preoccupied with territorial defense or attracting multiple mates. The result is an unusual but highly effective reproductive strategy, where males bear the entire parenting burden, allowing females to maximize their genetic legacy by fiercely competing for and breeding with multiple partners. Chapter 5: Floating Cradles. Nesting and incubation. The African Jacana's nest is as unique as the bird itself, a true engineering feat of the wetland. These floating cradles are typically simple, somewhat flimsy platforms, constructed primarily from interwoven reeds, grasses, and various other aquatic plants. The male, being the sole nest builder and caregiver, meticulously gathers material from the surrounding vegetation, carefully arranging it to form a slightly elevated, stable platform just above the water surface. Nest site selection is a critical decision for the male, directly impacting the clutch's survival. He will carefully choose a location that offers a balance of shelter from predators, stability against strong winds or currents, and close proximity to rich feeding zones. Often these nests are built amongst dense lily pads or emergent reeds, providing natural camouflage and protection. Once the nest is complete, the female visits to lay her clutch, typically consisting of 4 distinctive, pear-shaped eggs that are often a glossy, olive brown or dark spotted color. After laying as per the jacana's reverse gender roles, the female immediately departs, leaving the male in full sole control of the nesting duties. This means the male will be entirely responsible for the incubation and subsequent care of the young. During the incubation period, which lasts approximately 22 to 26 days, the male dedicates himself completely to his task. He often shades the eggs with his body and wings during the hottest parts of the day to prevent overheating, and conversely, uses his body and belly feathers to transfer warmth and adjust the egg temperature during cooler periods. An incredible feat of paternal devotion is this constant maintenance of the floating nest. He will repair and reinforce it multiple times daily, adding new material to counteract decay or dispersal, ensuring the fragile platform remains stable and buoyant throughout the incubation. Once hatched, the jack and the chicks are remarkably precocial. This means they are born highly developed, with their eyes open, covered in a soft camouflage down, and possessing the ability to walk and even forage independently. Within hours of hatching, their long toes are already present, enabling them to mimic their father's lily, trotting movements almost immediately. The male's role shifts from incubation to direct supervision and protection. He leads the tiny chicks to prime foraging grounds within hours of their emergence, teaching them how to find food and navigate their complex, floating world when danger approaches. The male jacana exhibits one of the most iconic and heartwarming behaviors in the avian world. He will gather his chicks, often up to 4 of them, and tuck them securely under his wings, or even carry them between his legs, pressing them against his body. He then walks or flies away, effectively creating a mobile nursery as he transports his precious cargo to safety. This remarkable feat allows him to quickly move his vulnerable young out of harm's way, a testament to his profound paternal care. Some males have even been observed engaging in fake brooding or injury feigning to distract predators, playing dead, or luring threats away from their hidden chicks, demonstrating a level of cunning and self-sacrifice rarely seen. Chapter 6: Tiny Warriors, Chick Development and Survival. Jack and the chicks born precocial are truly some of the most independent hatchlings in the bird world. But their initial independence doesn't diminish the myriad threats they face. From literally their first day out of the egg, they are already equipped to walk, forage for small insects, and diligently follow their father across the floating vegetation. This early mobility is crucial for survival in a dynamic predator-rich environment. The chicks are covered in a soft brown down with distinctive streak patterns. This coloration provides excellent natural camouflage, allowing them to blend seamlessly with the aquatic vegetation and dry grasses, making them incredibly difficult for predators to spot when they freeze or hide. Despite this camouflage and their innate capabilities, they are highly vulnerable. They face a formidable gauntlet of threats in their wetland kingdom. Ground predators like large Nile monitor lizards, Varanus niloticus, that can silently stalk the water's edge, various species of snakes that hunt on the floating mats, and opportunistic avian predators like herons and various raptors. Even fish-eating birds of prey, such as the majestic African fish eagle, Haliaeetus vocifer, are known to predate on jacana chicks, snatching them from the water surface. Aquatic threats include snapping turtles and even large catfish that can swallow a foraging chick from below. To counter these dangers, Jack and the chicks employ a combination of instinctive survival tactics. Their primary defense is to stay absolutely still and flat against the vegetation when danger approaches, relying on their camouflage to remain undetected. They also quickly learn to hide themselves deep within dense aquatic vegetation, using the thick cover as a natural shield. Above all, they rely implicitly on their father's constant guidance and unparalleled protection, instinctively responding to his alarm calls and following his lead to safety. Their growth milestones are rapid. Driven by the urgency of survival, they begin to fledge, meaning they develop their flight feathers and gain the ability to fly short distances. At approximately 30 to 40 days old, they become more proficient at flight. After about 6 weeks, once they are largely independent and capable of fending for themselves, the male, having completed his exhaustive paternal duties, will often chase off the now juvenile birds from his territory. This encourages them to disperse and find their own new habitats, preventing resource competition and initiating their journey towards establishing their own breeding territories. The survival rate for Jacana chicks to adulthood in the wild is tragically low, often ranging from only 30 to 50%. This stark statistic underscores the immense pressures and constant threats faced by these tiny warriors in their wetland world, making the male's dedication to their survival even more remarkable. Chapter 7: Enemies of the Floating Kingdom, Predators and Threats. While adult African Jacanas can utilize their rounded, strong wings for short bursts of flight to escape immediate danger, their eggs, and especially their precocial chicks, are remarkably vulnerable to a wide array of predators. Within their floating kingdom, this constant threat shapes much of their behavior and reproductive strategies. Their eggs laid in exposed floating nests are preyed upon by opportunistic animals, like Nile monitor lizards, which are adept swimmers and can easily access the nests. Various species of crows and other intelligent corvids will also raid nests for eggs. Ground-dwelling snakes that hunt in wetlands, as well as aquatic predators, like turtles and large bottom-feeding catfish, pose significant threats to both eggs and chicks. From above, the specialized raptors that patrol African wetlands are a constant danger. These include the agile African harrier hawk, Polyambroides typus, which can deftly pluck chicks from the lily pads, and the majestic African fish eagle, Halides vosper, a powerful predator that will readily target Jacana chicks if given the opportunity beyond direct predation. Nest flooding is a major environmental risk. If heavy rains cause water levels to rise rapidly, or if strong winds cause the loosely constructed nest to drift into open water or a dangerous area, the entire clutch can be lost. This emphasizes the male's constant vigilance and maintenance of the floating structure. Human threats, though indirect, also impact Jacana populations and their habitats. Wetland destruction for agriculture, urban development, or infrastructure projects is a significant concern, reducing the critical habitat these birds depend on. Pollution from agricultural runoff, pesticides, fertilizers, and industrial waste can degrade water quality, impacting the invertebrate food sources. The introduction and spread of invasive aquatic plants, such as water hyacinth, Eichhornia crassipes, can disrupt the native ecosystem, making it difficult for jacanas to find suitable nesting zones and forage efficiently. These invasive species can form dense, impenetrable mats that choke waterways and outcompete the native plants that jacanas rely on. Despite these risks and challenges, the African jacana's widespread distribution across the continent and its remarkable adaptability to various wetland conditions have generally kept its population stable, classifying it as least concerned by the IUCN for now. However, ongoing monitoring and targeted conservation efforts are crucial to ensure that their specialized wetland habitats remain healthy and intact for generations to come. Chapter 8: Voice of the Wetlands, Communication and Behavior. African jacanas are surprisingly vocal birds, using a variety of high-pitched squeals, whistles, and trills to communicate within their complex social structure and across their wetland territories. These vocalizations are essential for maintaining contact, warning of danger, and asserting dominance. Males, constantly attentive to their young, often use a repertoire of soft, short chirps and whistles to communicate with their chicks. guiding them to foraging areas or signaling need to hide. They also use specific calls to females, indicating readiness to mate or the presence of a new clutch. Females being the dominant and territorial sex, issue loud, often harsh, territorial calls to warn off rival females or other intruders who venture into their established domains. When directly confronted by an aggressor or a perceived threat, females can emit loud, piercing distress notes designed to deter the intruder or alert their mates. In confrontations, whether with rivals or potential predators, jackass employ a range of visual displays and bluffing aggression. They will often spread their distinctive rounded wings, puff up their chest feathers to appear larger, and fan their tails. These displays are intended to intimidate, signaling their readiness to defend their territory or offspring without necessarily engaging in physical combat. Beyond communication, Jack and his spend a significant portion of their day engaged in essential behaviors for survival and well-being. They can be observed foraging slowly and methodically, meticulously, searching for prey on the floating vegetation. When not actively feeding, they spend considerable time preening their feathers on exposed lily pads, maintaining their plumage for optimal waterproofing and insulation during the hottest parts of the day, or when seeking respite. They will nap in the shaded tranquility of dense reeds or under overhanging vegetation, conserving energy and avoiding overheating. A truly remarkable and almost serene behavior is their ability to sleep on water. Jacanas can often be seen balancing precariously on a lily leaf or a cluster of floating vegetation, with one leg often tucked up into their feathers. This unique resting posture allows them to remain in their habitat, ever ready to resume foraging or react to danger, while taking advantage of the cooling effect of the water and the camouflage of the vegetation. Their mastery of the floating world extends even to their moments of repose, reinforcing their title as the lily trotter. Chapter 9: The Sacred Bird, Symbolism and Mythology. The African Jacana, with its extraordinary ability to seemingly on water, has naturally woven itself into various African folklore, traditions, and belief systems across the continent. Its unique locomotion has elevated it beyond a mere bird, imbuing it with symbolic significance. It is often seen as a bridge between the earthly and aquatic realms, a creature that effortlessly traverses the boundary between land and water, inhabiting both yet belonging fully to neither. This liminal existence lends it a mystical quality. In many local narratives, unsurprisingly, it is widely referred to as the Jesus bird. In popular culture and local parlance, a direct reference to its almost miraculous ability to walk on water, an act often associated with divine power. In some tribal traditions and communities, the Jacana is revered as a powerful symbol of parental devotion, specifically due to the male's unwavering and dedicated nurturing role. This unique reversal of typical avian gender roles, where the father is the primary caregiver, resonates deeply with themes of sacrifice, protection, and unconditional love within human societies. It is thus associated with qualities like grace, balance, gentleness, and selfless fatherhood. In Zulu tradition, birds of the wetlands are often considered guardians of balance, specifically between the opposing forces of flood and drought that define much of the region's climate. The Jacana, with its ability to adapt and thrive in these fluctuating conditions, epitomizes this balance, symbolizing nature's resilience and capacity for harmony. The Jacana's fascinating and highly unusual mating system, where females are dominant and polyandrous, has captivated not only professional researchers, but also local African poets, storytellers, and villagers alike. Its departure from typical avian norms makes it a subject of endless discussion and wonder, highlighting nature's boundless capacity for variation and adaptation. Today, the African Jacana's graceful image and unique narrative are increasingly used in various contemporary contexts. It frequently appears in ecotourism, logos for lodges and safari operators operating around African wetlands, serving as an emblem of the continent's unique avian diversity. It is also adopted as a school mascot, or a conservation emblem in countries like Uganda, Kenya, and Botswana, where it inspires children and communities to appreciate and protect their natural heritage. The Jacana, therefore, is not just a biological wonder, but a living testament to the rich interplay between wildlife and human culture across Africa. Chapter 10: Wetland Warriors, Conservation and Legacy. Despite its highly specialized habitat requirements and the unique pressures it faces, the African Jacana currently enjoys a relatively secure conservation status. It is listed as least concerned by the IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature, indicating that its populations are stable across its extensive sub-Saharan distribution. This stability is largely attributed to its wide geographical spread and its remarkable adaptability to various types of freshwater wetlands, as long as the critical floating vegetation is present. However, a least concerned status does not imply immunity from threats, and proactive conservation efforts are vital to ensure the Jacana's long-term survival. Key conservation needs focus primarily on safeguarding the health and integrity of its wetland ecosystems. This includes the urgent protection of wetland habitats from drainage, conversion for agriculture or urban development, control of pollution from industrial discharge, agricultural runoff, pesticides, fertilizers, and domestic waste is crucial, as contaminated water directly impacts the Jacana's invertebrate food sources. The spread of invasive aquatic plants, like water hyacinth, is another significant threat, as these can choke waterways, displace native vegetation, and disrupt the delicate ecological balance that jackass rely on for feeding and nesting. Lastly, managing the impacts of climate-related droughts and ensuring sustainable water management around freshwater zones are paramount for the future. For now, the kingdom is safe, but darkness changes everything here. When scaled hunters slip through moonlit channels, when feathered shadows drop without warning, and one father's devotion faces its cruelest test. Next time on Mr. Africa, the wetland doesn't sleep.